Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome. So today I want to talk about a little bit of a different subject than we typically talk about here on the page. We talk a lot about student loans and retirement planning and investing and everything in between. But one thing I don't talk a lot about is, frankly, I don't talk about it enough, is how to make more money for yourself, right? Well, how do you change the income side of your financial equation? And I want to spend some time correcting this a little bit today, based on a few questions I've gotten over the past several months, but one in particular I got last week that I thought was really interesting and figured it would be a good thing for us to discuss here. And we'll call this person who sent in the question Michelle. The question says, lately I've noticed a few of my female friends leaving their jobs to go and sell makeup and skincare products at, they name a few companies that I don't want to name out loud here. Now, one of whom wants me to join her quote unquote team to sell these products as well. I've heard terrible things about these sorts of direct selling companies in the past, but it seems like a growing number of my friends are getting involved with them and seem to be doing well. Am I missing something? Is this an opportunity that I should consider? Great question. I know I've seen several people I know get involved in these sorts of opportunities as well, and I know they seem really appealing to join these direct selling or network marketing or multi-level marketing companies. Right, they have a good message, and before we go any further, I'll give a shout out to you for being interested in an entrepreneurial type venture of sorts. That takes courage to be willing to take the step and put yourself out there. And I think it's great. To answer your question directly, no, I would not pursue this. I would stay as far away from working with a multi-level marketing company as you can. But what I absolutely would do if I was you is to find a way to fulfill that sort of entrepreneurial venture that you're interested in by starting or getting involved with a real bona fide startup business that's involved in whatever industry it is you're looking at. Right, I would stay away from these type of companies, but I do think it's a great idea to fulfill that entrepreneurial itch, if you will, once you're ready. But why, right? And before we even discuss why, I don't think these companies are a good idea. It probably makes sense to talk about what they even are. As I mentioned a little bit ago, these companies can go by a few different types of names, right? You often hear them called network marketing or multi-level marketing companies, direct selling. They're all talking about the same type of company that, by and large, operate in a few main industries here in America. Makeup, skincare, hair care, health and beauty sort of products, dietary supplements, fitness programs, energy drinks, things like that, some home cleaning products. There's even one in the insurance industry, which if you go back and take a look at some of the comments on some of the more provocative articles I've done on the insurance company industry in this country, you'll see some comments from a very well-known insurance multi-level marketing company, which I found entertaining at the time, and I still do. And so, they work in a variety of industries. There are a few main ways to identify the types of companies that I'm talking about here that I'm suggesting you should not pursue joining their team to sell their products. First and foremost, right, these entities, you'll recognize them because of the story that they have to tell. These companies are notorious for giving off this image and telling these success stories of people who are able to be their own boss, work from home, work a few hours a week and make a lot of money, right? Making a lot of money in general is something that they really tend to focus on. Well, having very flexible hours and being able to do it all work-life balance-wise by joining their team to sell their products, right? Whenever you hear companies that really emphasize that, that to me is your first warning sign, because usually you'll be approached by somebody who works at one of these companies. Another way to identify them is you don't see their products that they sell, whether they're skincare products or energy drinks or anything in between. You don't see them at stores or even on Amazon for the most part. Most of them don't put their products on Amazon. Anyway, a few have started over the past few years. And that right there to me says a lot about what you need to know about these companies, right? What good company in 2019 isn't doing an all-out blitz to get their products on Amazon or have them in retail stores, right? And that to me says a lot about the business model and why I have some serious reservations about telling people to pursue it. But that's step number two, right? You don't see their products at stores or on the internet for the most part. Where you do find them is step 3, is you buy these products from distributors, right? People that they have contracted with to sell their products to their friends, family, neighbors, people in their community, and so on. This is where the inspiration for this question came from Michelle, where talking about Facebook posts from her girlfriends from high school and college who have started selling these things and are trying to promote them to her as well. Very, very common for people in their mid-20s onward, I would say, to get involved in this sort of venture. And finally, right, the number one thing to pay attention to look for to identify these sorts of companies is that they're not just trying to sell you their products. They're also trying to get you to join them to sell their products too. This is often the key for multi-level marketing companies. And frankly, it's the main reason I don't recommend doing this. Because when you dig in a little bit deeper, what you find is that the people who do really well and make a healthy income, right, from selling these products, don't really do it from selling the products at all. How they make their money is by recruiting people to sell beneath them on their quote unquote team, or downline in industry terms, and they get paid a percentage of the commission for people who sell below them. Right, the business model itself is, dubious at best, I would say, and it can absolutely collapse on you, which is why there are so many failure stories in these industries. Generally speaking, if you're asking yourself, should I get involved in a company or should I not? Any business where the vast majority of your earning potential relies on recruiting people to sell below you is not something that's mathematically sustainable. Right? It's not legally a pyramid scheme in America as of right now, anyway. But it is drawing the line really close, right? If the business model relies on having people sell a lot of products below you and then have the payments flow up to you, right? That is literally a pyramid diagram. I can't say it more simply than that. You have a legitimate business you're working with when, right, most, if not all, ideally all, of the revenue coming in from the business comes from actual customers of the business, right? Not from people who are selling below you. And the other reason that the business model is really questionable is because of the mechanics of how they get the products to you in the first place, right? It's not as simple as, selling an order of XYZ nutritional shake to a friend and then placing an order online and then having the product distributor send that to your friend. No, you need to spend the money on your products yourself. You need to do bulk orders to have these things available to sell, and then it's your responsibility to send them. A lot of MLMs will have a minimum monthly spend number, right? However much you need to spend in order to stay qualified to continue to sell their products. It's not a sustainable business model for the vast majority of people, right? A legitimate, good business venture to join doesn't require you to spend money on the products that they're claiming is the thing that they sell, right? As a way to keep the business going, right? You should be finding something to get involved with where you're selling the product on your own without needing to buy massive quantities of it yourself, because that's where people tend to get in trouble. Which brings me to my second main point about why I don't recommend these sorts of ventures. And that is that just the economic rewards promised by the people recruiting you to join these MLM companies are just, they're very incredibly unlikely, right? The vast majority of people working in these sorts of jobs lose money. Right? Most people lose money in these ventures because, as I just mentioned, right, the company's forcing you to buy their product month after month, regardless of whether or not you're selling it or not. You need to end up buying a lot of the product to qualify for the discounts and things like that to make it economically viable for you. And if you can't sell it, that's your problem at the end of the day, right? Things like that are why half the people who get involved in these companies drop out in the first year alone, and over 90% of people who try selling for one of these multi-level marketing companies drop out in the first 5 years. Just to give you some comparison, about half of small businesses survive 5 years, right? I'm saying half of multi-level marketing employees survive 1 year. Never mind 5. And for the people who do, the median income for somebody working in these sorts of jobs is about $2,500 per year. And those are the people who are actually actively doing it day in and day out. There are a vast majority of people who aren't even selling that much and don't even qualify to get into the statistical list for this sort of data, right? But of the people who do, median income is about $2,500 per year. The stories that they tell to get you involved and to get you excited to join of the people who are making a lot of money, working from home, not doing much work, usually they're some of the first people who got in, first and foremost. And they're the stories of the 1% of the 1% of the people at the company, right? It just flat out is very, very unlikely and very, very, very difficult to get to that point. It's great that you're interested in some sort of working for yourself, being your own boss, but this is not the way to do it, period. But here's the thing. If that appeals to you, to start a business, be your own boss, right? To go out on your own, to help people in some way, that's phenomenal, right? Do it. Absolutely, that's something you should have a plan to do and then follow through on that plan and actually go do that. Go out on your own, work for yourself. But don't do it for a multi-level marketing company, right? Selling an overpriced, disgusting energy drink product. Don't do that. Start your own business in the industry. Let me tell you a quick story. So a few years back, I was looking to make some health changes in my own life, as most of us do from time to time. And I met a woman at a networking event that I won't name the company, but it's a major health and wellness fitness multi-level marketing company, right? Met with her at the networking event. We clicked a little bit, decided to get together one-on-one to talk through things. She walked me through her product. She was phenomenal. She was great. She knew her stuff inside and out. She had a lot of great ideas, but the conversation kept coming back to this kind of manufactured artificial energy drink solution that tasted terrible. By the way, she gave me a few samples. It was not good. And that was the only solution for how we could work together. And I looked right at her and I said, this really isn't, I don't think this is going to solve the problems that I know I have. But I'll tell you this, I'll hire you right now to be a health and wellness coach for me, because you know your stuff, you great material, would love to work with you. To which she immediately shook her head and said, I don't think that's going to work. You really should try insert product name here. And you'll be very happy that you did in about a week. So I said, no, you don't understand. I have zero interest in working with your company. What I want is to work with you. At which point she gave me a few samples, told me to think it over, and that was that. Right? I did the math back in the day, and by my estimate, it's hard to tell how these companies work behind the scenes, but she would have made something like $10 a month or so, right, working with me if I had bought these shakes or whatever they were on an ongoing basis. But she had a lot of great health insights as somebody I gladly would have worked one-on-one as a coach or a consultant or a trainer, if you will, right? How much would I have been willing to pay for that kind of service? I don't know, but a lot more than she would have gotten paid for me by buying the energy drink. She could have made a lot more money in a much more effective way working with me in that way. But she couldn't see it, right? I told her multiple times that I'd pay her more to have a different type of work arrangement with her, and it didn't go anywhere. It just didn't, right? She kept selling her energy drink products, and who knows what she's up to now. For every multi-level marketing company out there, there's a business that you could start with that equivalent skill set. As I've talked about health and wellness a lot because of that example that I had, rather than selling those products, go be a nutritional coach. Go be a personal trainer. It costs a few $1,000s a year to get started as a personal trainer. If you have that skill set, go for it. If you're thinking about joining a makeup or skincare consultant company, that's something I know almost nothing about. But I'll tell you what I did. I Googled skincare consultant out of curiosity right before I started recording this, and found multiple individual skincare consultants within a 20-mile radius of me, and a ton of job postings in the industry to boot. Right? Interior decorating, if you sell home type products, right? There are any sort of consultant in the industry where this MLM company exists is something that you can do if you have a specialized knowledge and skill set about it. And I'm willing to bet if this is something that interests you and you think you'd be good at, you probably do know more than you think you do. And you probably could go out and hold out and do something like this on your own. Right? It's phenomenal if this sort of opportunity interests you at the surface, that you want to take control of your life and your career, go hang the business shingle and work for yourself. I want everybody to have that sort of opportunity at some point in their lives, right? To take the leap and to do that. I should know that better than anybody, right? I work for a financial services. I worked for multiple financial services companies, decided that I had a vision for how I wanted to do it on my own, and here I am, right? I took that leap. It was phenomenal. It was wonderful. I recommend that everybody have that sort of experience. Especially if you know you have a valuable skill that you can offer people. If you're willing to put yourself out there and do whatever it takes, right, to sell that product for the MLM company, right, you know more than you think you do, and you could go out and do that on your own. Some sort of job in that industry. Do it, but do it for a real business. Don't do it for a business that makes its money by recruiting more salespeople to work under you, and for you to be forced to buy stupidly large amounts of the product yourself in order to stay qualified to work for them. Do it for a real business. But before you do, you should make sure you're prepared financially to go out, take the leap, start your own business, right? It's a great idea, but you do need to be prepared. Even if you're starting part-time, right? You want to make sure you know what you're getting into, you know what the trajectory is. I have a free guide that you can grab in the description, or go to pacesetterplanning.com/quityourjob, all one word. That's pacesetterplanning.com/quityourjob, all together. Download the guide. It'll walk you through exactly how to figure out exactly when you're ready to make a leap like that, and to go out and start a business on your own. Again, great that you want to do that. You absolutely should. Don't do it for a multi-level marketing company, and make sure you're ready financially to make that leap. Again, this is Bill from Pacesetter Planning. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We do these every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks.